and go.
It's been amazing being able to turn to you and just immediately get feedback about which direction to go down. Because there's so many different paths in running this type of business. There's so many different options at each step of the journey. And so being able to go to someone who has a background in this, who's successfully implemented this type of business model and grown companies, grown teams, hired people, closed deals, sold the company, knowing that I have you in my corner is amazing. So it's like, I think I said this in an email recently. What did I say? I think it was like, and this is true, I don't make any major decision without consulting you first. And that's like, absolutely, you're in my corner, you've got my back, and you know these types of problems that I'm encountering. So thank you. It's been amazing.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, I'm blushing a little bit, if you can't tell. Let's talk about like from the time just before we started working together to when, after a couple of weeks and I got to know you and got to know your style, what were the biggest differences for you?
Differences in what?
For you. So once we started working together, I know at the beginning you were a little bit trepidatious, right? You're like, I don't know. I'm not like paying for this seems.
Oh yeah. Well, I think
somehow. Yeah.
For sure. I see what you're getting at. I think a lot of people, including myself, we've hired people in the past who are great at talking big game and over promising. And then as soon as the money is paid, then they kind of back off. Then they kind of are hard to get a hold of. They're less confident in their answers. They have less detail. They spend less time with you. It's one of the challenges that me running an agency that I have being in this industry, because our clients have been burned before. And so I think I, as an individual, I, as an agency owner, given how many people I've hired in the past and had so-so and sometimes not great results with, we're all many of us are very careful about who we are willing to pay money to. But I think what's so different with you is that everyone has a great sales pitch, or at least they ask really good questions on the front end for the most part. And you certainly asked lots of great questions in the beginning. But what's amazing is that right after I paid you money, the value continued to be there with great questions, showing up consistently, being very generous with your time. And so I think it was very clear within weeks of us working together that this wasn't just like a great initial discovery call that we had. You follow through. It's so hard my perspective is that it's so hard to get people to understand that, because they're so used to being sold to really heavily on the front end. But in your case, there was no downhill decline in quality after the sale.
Yeah. And I've been through the same thing where you've been oversold, and, because I've been in your shoes.
Yeah.
I get how precious every dollar is to you. Especially, if you're not coming at this with a bunch of money in the bank, cash flow is so precious that, and I know how hard it is to hand money to someone else when you don't know if it's going to work out. But I'm glad you took the leap. So the other day in an email that you shared with me, you went through your sort of your journey. Can you talk about that a little bit from a revenue and customer acquisition perspective?
Yeah, it's so crazy, actually looking at it. So I'm looking at the numbers in front of me. So in May of, actually, let me pull up that email because I have all the numbers in one place there. Let me find that. Okay, here it is. No, I sent you an email where it had bullet points in it, right?
Yep.
Do you remember what the subject line of that was?
No, but I can.
Intro. I feel like that was the best. Oh, wait, is this it? Yeah. Okay, here it is. Perfect. Found it. So in the last 4 or 5 months, yeah, this is so crazy. It's such a striking difference after I started working with you. So in April of this year, April 2020, we had 12 clients. This was after, I think we just lost a number of clients at the start of the pandemic. Some of our apparel brands failed.
Right.
And then, so April, we had 12 clients.
Right.
In May,
Right.
yeah, go
And
ahead.
when we first spoke, you had just canceled your health insurance and stopped paying it.
That's right. Yeah, when we first spoke, I just canceled health insurance. I had negotiated rent down. I was canceling everything I could for fear of running out of cash. And so we were in the process of just cutting expenses as aggressively as possible. So April, we had 12 clients. In May, we fought hard and got up to 18 clients. And then we didn't really grow over the next month. In June, we ended that month with 18 clients. We might have got a couple of clients and lost a couple of clients. And in June, we hired you. That's when I started working with you. And then in July, we went up to 21 clients. And then in August, we went up to 27 clients. And then this month, we're up to 38 clients. And the last,
awesome for you. That's incredible.
18, 21, 27, 38. So the last, I think really what happened is we started shifting our priorities and where we were investing our resources as soon as we started working with you and started figuring out what some of the bottlenecks were and the opportunities. And that started to pay dividends over the last couple of months as we really started to get positioned to grow faster by eliminating some of those bottlenecks and just making it easier to run the business. Because I think I was running the business a really difficult way for a long time.
Yeah, and you added an account management structure. You added some front end lead gen help.
Yeah.
And you have gone for this. This is my favorite moment where you go from the can we do this to we can do this. That's the magic moment when you that you could get punched in the face right now and you'd still be okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be awesome, but how to build this now because you've got the structures. And talk about a little bit about what's different for you personally now, in terms of your stress level, your energy level, your confidence.
I think when we first met, I was still in a situation where there was still the nagging fear that this business could go under, that we could just get wiped out with a couple of bad weeks. A couple of bad weeks of things not going well, us dropping the ball, clients having external factors, the business could have gotten wiped out. And now we're at a point where I just checked our numbers today. We're actually at 60,000 in monthly recurring revenue as of today. And our original sales target was 50,000 for the end of this month. And so we're 2 months ahead of schedule right now.
Exciting.
Yeah. So it's we've been growing tremendously fast. And I think now I feel so much more, one of the things I've noticed this week is I feel so much more confident in my relationships with our clients because I'm not fearful of them leaving anymore. I'm now more hey, if you're pushing back on us on price, let's have a real conversation about it instead of me just jumping to discount.
Right.
Let's have a talk. And so that's happened a couple of times recently where clients have been oh, well, let's not start charging the monthly fee until you launch the ads. And I'm no. We started working for you. We started doing our job. This is what we agreed to in the sales conversation. This is what you signed. We bill when we start working. And after having some conversations with clients this week, they're okay, fine, we'll pay. I get it. We're taking a leap of faith on your business. We get it. Fine, we'll pay. And so there hasn't been the fear of loss of losing clients that I've had in the past. Of course, right. We don't want to lose clients if we don't have to. And we don't need to be a dick about it. But I think I'm coming to the negotiating table with a lot more confidence on the value that we provide and a lot less fear of loss.
And talk a little bit about so when you started, you only had contractors and now you have employees. And
I didn't have any employees. Yeah.
right, and just before this call, actually, you just hired a sales leader, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I just got a new head of sales. It's
Which
so
is great.
crazy.
But so tell me a little bit what it's like to be, to the change from it's the Charlie show with contractors to, to your company. Tell me about that shift.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think there's like two parts of the shift that I've been aware of so far. There's like the day-to-day work, with me delegating a lot more and trusting people to do good work. And then there's the emotional shift of, not of like starting to feel like, oh, this machine can run without me. Like when we do daily stand-up calls, or when we review performance, and like do a weekly goal setting call, seeing that there's all this stuff that's going on that I didn't even know about, seeing all this stuff that's going on that I was totally hands off with the involvement, and they're like reporting on progress and they're reporting on like the things that they did. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Great work. This is awesome.
Right. And you didn't have to drive it.
I didn't have to drive it. I didn't even know about it sometimes. And that's an amazing feeling. And so seeing it go from like a couple of years where it's just me working with contractors to now we've got 3 full-time employees, with this head of sales, and soon we'll have 5 because we're hiring 2 full-time account managers.
Right.
Like the change, it's like a really good feeling. It just feels so good to have people who are doing their job and taking work off your plate, and knowing that this machine runs even when you're not there in the meeting.
Right. And one thing that we've talked about quite a bit is what's next. And
Yeah.
4 months ago, there wasn't a next. There was only right now.
Yeah.
It was impossible for you to plan because you couldn't see beyond, the fear of losing your next client.
Yeah. There was a long period of time where what's next was really just like, what's on the docket for today and this week? Like, how do we just get through the next few days? How do we like keep this ship from sinking? How do we keep the ball moving forward? I think having full-time team members, having people who are consistently taking work off your plate and like owning various aspects of the business,
Yeah.
really makes it possible for me to suddenly look at the future, think about where we're going, and intelligently drive this vehicle forward, as opposed to just reacting to what's happening every week.
Right.
And so, and really my goal is to get to the point where, and we're well on our way, get to the point where most of my time is spent on either accountability for various team leaders and coaching them, or working on strategy for the future, or hiring. And I'm really excited that more and more of my day is spent between those 3 things.
Yeah.
I think pretty soon this whole business will be entirely autonomous, and I will be acting as truly the CEO should be acting, guiding the ship forward.
Right. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how it feels when you're not at work. Going from where you were to where you are.
I'm still definitely a workaholic. I'm still like working a ton. Like the hours are still substantial. But I think the biggest thing before, like earlier this year even, if I wasn't a part of calls, I was concerned about the status of different things. Like if I wasn't a part of the conversation that was actively taking place with a client, with a team member, I would be concerned about what's going on there, and I'd be stressing about it. And these days, like we've hired marketers that I haven't even met yet. Like we've hired people who are working on our team that my team members have vetted and have gone through multiple rounds of interviews and like checked out and validated. They've like shared like high level information with me, but I haven't even had the time to meet them yet. And there's people on our team who are working on projects that I haven't gotten fully up to speed on yet. Like there's just a bunch of balls moving forward that I don't have to be a part of. And it was scary at first. Like it was definitely scary having all these things going on that I wasn't in 100% complete control of.
Yep.
But I've definitely gotten to the point where I just trust the people that I've spent a lot of time and energy working with, and that I've hired I've hired them to do this work.
Right.
And now that I'm trusting these people and I'm delegating and I'm letting them do their jobs, it's now becoming more relaxing. It's now becoming more like, this machine actually runs. This is good.
Right.
In the beginning it was stressful.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming more and more like, okay, cool. Jason's got it. Or hey, Maddie's got that. Awesome. I don't have to think about it anymore.
Right. And that's, that's empowering for you, and it's empowering for them.
For sure. I think that autonomy really helps them. I think that's like a something that they want and feel good about.
Well, when you hire good people, that's what they want, because they want to grow. And if you're holding on too tightly, they can't. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me, and we're almost done here, but sort of, tell me what you wish, the 5 month ago, Charlie, what do you wish he knew?
What I really wish I had known, whether it's 5 months ago or at least like in the recent history, I have spent too much money on courses that I just expected I could like read a book, take a course, and it would fix all my problems. And I think what I've come to experience with you in particular, and I've tried it with a couple of other folks, but what I've experienced with you is I can get so much more value out of having a conversation with someone who's been there and done that than I can in taking a bunch of online courses and watching a ton of videos and reading a bunch of things that in theory might make sense.
Sure.
Conceptually might make sense. But then when you actually have to apply them, there's still a ton of questions, and there's so many different mitigating factors that affect what is a good decision, that a lot of that theoretical, like academic learning doesn't help me actually make the decision. And so I think that's where our conversations, our emails, our like back and forth on different things, that helps me make a decision much faster, because you actually understand the context that I'm in. You understand the factors that are affecting my business and the decision. And then you can help guide me to make that decision, rather than me have to like go try to figure out how each of these 20 to 50 different factors play out in my world. It's like academic versus like in reality. Right.
And also those courses and that information is made without the context of you, your team, your customers, and your goals, right? They're just, it's like IKEA instructions for for furniture you don't know, if you don't have all the parts. So that's fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this has been awesome. I'm super, super thrilled about this. So just so you know, this is going to be like chopped up and edited up and turned into snippets. And, I will, we'll put like a chyron underneath, like, Charlie's super hot agency owner looking for love or something, something good.
Just put my cell phone number at the bottom.
Yeah. Cool. Well, and thank you so much for both your kind words, your hard work, and your openness.
Yeah. Well, thanks for working with me, and thanks for doing this. I think there's so many agency owners out there who are like me, who are like getting started, trying to grow the business. And it is incredibly stressful and scary going it alone. And even if you have a business partner, chances are they don't have all the answers either. And so having someone who's been there and done that, and who actually has empathy for the journey that you're on, and like understands how challenging and frustrating and scary and stressful all of this is, like, I feel like you're part like my therapist and part like the guide who actually like can help me discover the answers. And it's a really nice blend to have you play that role. Well,
thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
I appreciate this so much. And, when is your new sales hire starting?
He starts on let me see. He asked if we could start on October 12th. So yeah, I think we're going to start him on October 12th. So like 3 weeks.
Awesome.
Like 4 weeks, a little under a month.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Good for you. All right. Have a great weekend, Charlie. I appreciate it.
You too, for sure. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.